Hi everybody, it's Kevin Owen, and I'm excited to be launching our first podcast. Now today we ran a series of podcasts for mortgage specialists. So we're going to be doing a series of podcasts with all the professionals, and for you guys to be able to help me is if you go down below to learn, share, and write out your questions and maybe some of the subjects that you'd like me to cover. So this is our first podcast and I'm pretty excited about it. There was great information. I met with Marlene Love from the TD Bank. She's a mortgage specialist and she was one of our guest speakers today. So I'm pretty excited about this particular podcast. So go down below to learn, share with your friends, and of course, write your questions down and ideas for future subjects. Thank you very much and enjoy the video. Hi everybody, it's Kevin Owen, and today we have a special guest from the TD Bank, and her name is Marlene Love. Thank you very much, Marlene, for being here, for sharing your information, which is truly valuable.
Thank you.
And she is the expert on a mortgage specialist for the TD. Now, a lot of questions we receive from our audience and from potential buyers, potential sellers, is about mortgages. And the big question is what is the benefit of using a mortgage specialist?
Yeah, for sure. The benefits would be that I'm an expert in my field. I've been in banking industry for over 30 years. So I have a lot of experience. I haven't been just in mortgages in the last 30 years, but I have a lot of experience I've done investments, I've done small business banking. So I've gone to the Collège de l'Immobilier to get my license, my mortgage broker license. So I have a lot of background and a lot of experience. So that would be for sure that one. We would get you the best rate as a specialist, as a mortgage specialist. Great advice because of the experience, and it's client per client. Depends what the needs are, what the products we could offer. And I think a big one too is the flexibility. To be able to go see clients at home in the evening, weekends. We go to the client's home. We can meet them at a restaurant, at a cafe, at their work, at the TD branch also. So it's always
Okay, so basically we have a lot of flexibility.
That's right.
And a lot of clients, of course, when they're very nervous when they're going to be purchasing their first home and to meet actually a mortgage specialist, because there's a big difference between what people do and how they do it.
Yeah.
And I always try to reach back to the point of, if you're a potential buyer and you're going in to get a mortgage for the first time, you're just walking in the front door and you're going to meet somebody that you actually have no relationship with.
Yeah.
But as I always tell everybody is if you had to go to a dentist to go get some dental work done, you'd want to be referred to somebody that you could actually trust.
Absolutely.
And so when we ask our clients about that, we always ask them on which bank would you prefer to work with? And then from that point on, then they know that I physically have met with somebody, interviewed them, they've handled my files, and I know how and what to expect on each case.
That's right.
So these are really important things. Now, the next one, of course, they want to know about the pre-approval process and what documents they may need from the buyer itself. So maybe you can elaborate what they need.
Okay, sure. The pre-approval process is when I sit down with a client and look at their finances to find out the maximum amount we could lend them and which interest rate the bank will charge you. With the pre-approval, the client will know the maximum amount of mortgage they could qualify for. We estimate your mortgage payments. We lock in an interest rate also in Quebec from January to July 14th, which is good because normally an interest rate any other time in Quebec is good for 4 months. But in this particular time period with TD, they're good till July 14th.
So how many days you're actually giving? 180 days, 120 days? How many days?
We give usually 4 months.
4 months, okay.
Yeah.
Which is great.
For a guaranteed interest rate.
Right.
And but in this time of year we do it until July 14th. We guarantee it.
Now the thing about the when we're talking about getting pre-approved on everything, now the process of actually purchasing a home is, when you're sitting down with myself or someone from my team, we're going to be taking down information about what type of home you're looking for.
Yes.
It's going to take time in order to find that exact home.
Exactly.
So that the amount of time that you're offering to guarantee a rate is really a plus for clients.
It is, absolutely, because some people will find their dream home right away,
Right.
but others may take more time.
Right.
So and if the rates go up, you will benefit from the lower rate until July 14th. So we offer that. That's really good.
So as far as the documents that you want from, especially if we're just talking about the pre-approval process, which is one step before actually getting a mortgage commitment.
That's right.
And we'll talk about the two different things later on, but right now, so I give you a call, ring, hi Marlene, what does my client need to get pre-approved?
So I could start the process by phone with the client if that's what the client prefers, or I can meet them in person.
Okay.
With the pre-approval process, we don't necessarily need any income confirmations or any documents at all.
Okay.
So what I will do though, I will complete a credit application and have the client sign it. So I will go through the assets, the liabilities, employment history, and I will verify the credit bureau score.
Okay, good.
To make sure that to look at the whole picture of the client's profile. So if a client will tell me that he makes $20,000, well, that's what I'll write down. So we don't have to confirm any income. So with the credit bureau, with the liabilities, assets, net worth, and what have you, we're able to give a pre-approval if he has a good credit. If the clients have a good credit bureau, we could give a pre-approval within like minutes to a client.
And we don't want to take people shopping, especially when you guys out there that want to buy something. We want to make sure that whatever home we're going to be showing you, you actually have the money to do it, and we don't want you to be upset finding that perfect home that you can't afford. So these are really important process.
Yes.
Now, again, anytime along this line that you're watching this particular video and you have questions, you can always go down below to learn more. You can ask us questions. Maybe some of the things that we're covering today, maybe not on our list, but is important to you. That's what we're there for. So we'll get back to you on any questions that you might have. So Marlene, can you explain the difference between a pre-approval letter and a mortgage commitment?
Absolutely. Pre-approval is a process where I take the personal information from the client, your name, address, date of birth, SIN number, where you work, assets, liabilities. I verify your credit bureau. I get all this information. It could be all verbal information.
Right.
I enter it in the system. Bang, we get a pre-approval. I don't have to confirm any income confirmations. A mortgage commitment is a little bit different in the sense that when you do find that dream home, that house you wish to have, and you want to make an official offer to purchase on it, then that's when we will ask you for the examination of your income and financial documents to meet our underwriting requirements to prove that you could qualify for that mortgage.
Now, this is a good point for the buyers out there is that, you found a perfect home, you put an offer to purchase in, it's being accepted, you've done your building inspection, and now you're doing all this stuff here. But the question is in between that time and someone goes out and buys a car or buys furniture and anything, does it have an effect on your mortgage commitment, or does it, or
Absolutely.
during that process? Okay.
It could and it could not. And I'll tell you the difference. The pre-approval process is usually good for 6 months. So we verify the credit bureau, we've done the pre-approval, even with the commitment when it's something that you're more interested in.
Right.
It's within 6 months, it's good. However, after 3 months, if you call me, you should be calling me up because that can make a big difference. But if you call me up and say, listen, Marlene, I bought a car. It's a big ticket item.
Right.
It's a big payment. I just want to let you know. And I'll say, good, thank you very much for letting me know. We will reevaluate the whole pre-approval process because that $600 or $700 payment will take away from the amount that you could afford the mortgage.
And that's why we want to talk about that, because
Yes.
people don't realize that there's all these little things that
Yeah.
the bank is looking for, and as far as getting a mortgage commitment and sending the funds over to a notary later on.
Yes.
These are things that you should think about, and that's why we're
Absolutely.
talking about these things. So again, if you
Yeah.
have any questions, go down below and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to go on to the next subject.
Yes.
Marlene, can you explain for the people who recently immigrated to Canada if there's any programs available to them?
We don't have a program per se for new to Canada. Over the last, I would say, in the banking industry, over the last 5 years, there's been a lot of changes with what's required for new to Canada.
Right.
And with TD, what we would need is we probably need more information from these clients than if it was somebody who was living in Canada and Canadian resident, and it's a bit more different in that sense. So we need more information. So that information we would need, they would have to provide the evidence of their credit history from the state or the country they live in. They must provide 12 months of principal and interest and tax payments ahead of time, which is something another client in Canada wouldn't need to do. So they have to have that money already in the bank account for 12 months ahead of time.
Okay. Now, I spoke with you. I actually made a phone call to Marlene on a Saturday. You know, most people think that people work, Monday to Friday, but the mortgage specialists are typically available to us almost all the time, which is pretty amazing. Now, I picked up the phone. I'm sitting in Tim Hortons with one of my clients, and of course, his wife was a newly landed immigrant here to Canada,
Yes.
and he was asking about getting pre-approved. And of course, all I did was I made a phone call over to Marlene, and Marlene spoke to my client directly there. So, that one-on-one thing was pretty amazing, and it shows that, you're not always available, but I tell you, 9 out of 10 times, they're there.
Thank you very much.
So the thing is, on these people that are landed immigrants, we talked
Yeah.
about having their money in an account
That's
for
right.
90 days prior to making an offer. How's this
Absolutely.
work?
Yeah, absolutely. So the down payment has to be in the account for at least 90 days. We'll ask for a 90-day statement.
Right.
Anything before that, we don't usually ask for. So
Okay.
as long as the money is there for 90 days, that's what one of our requirements is. So it has to be there for 90 days. We need letters of employment accompanied with pay stubs, and any foreign documents
Okay.
must be translated to English or French by an accredited translator. So
Well,
that's very important.
That's pretty important.
Yeah, that's very important for them to
Okay.
know that.
So again, there's so much detail, of course, for this particular, if there is a program that is available. Things are always changing. It's always
Yes.
moving.
Absolutely.
So again, if anybody has any questions, they can always reach out to us. And the next question we have is, the government has started this new program
Yes.
where, not program, but condition
Yes.
that everybody must go through this stress test. And everybody going, well, it's already stressful just buying real estate or buying a
Absolutely.
home. But this stress test, what is it all about?
Yes, basically about 2 years ago, the government has added this stress test, if you want to call it. Basically, what that is it's a set of rules set by the government to help home buyers be confident that they're buying the house that they could afford for now and in the future. So in order to qualify for a mortgage loan at a bank, you will need to pass a stress test. You will need to prove you can afford payments at a qualifying interest rate, which is typically higher than the actual rate in your mortgage contract, the interest rate you negotiate with your lender.
Right.
So if the rate right now is 2.77 for
Right.
5-year fixed rate, then I'll have to put the payment at 5.19
Right.
in the system to show that in the future, when the payments do possibly increase
Right.
after your term is over, it's time for renewal.
Right.
If the rate is 3 or 4%, you're still able to afford that mortgage payment.
Okay. So basically, they're always pushing the limit in the sense of they'll be tested with the stress test, if I understand correctly, that it will be at a higher rate.
Yes.
And of course, when you do get your mortgage, it will be at the lower rate.
That's
but
right.
they will test you at the higher one just to make sure that you can afford those payments that you make. And that's really well explained. Thank you. The next question is there anything else that you wanted to add on that one?
No, that's good.
That's good?
It's basically protecting the client also.
Yeah, good. Now we'll go to the next question. First, is there any changes announced by the Bank of Canada regarding the interest rates?
Actually, the mortgage stress test has gone down a little bit,
Really?
which is really good news. For a mortgage, we were qualifying the clients at 5.19, and it has gone down like last week. So at 5.04, I believe. So
Okay.
that's very good. The regular mortgage rates with TD have gone down also. So last month, I could give a 5-year fixed rate at 2.98, and now that rate could be 2.82.
That's amazing.
So that's very good.
So people out there that want to get a mortgage, this is a
Yes.
great time for them to do
Absolutely.
so. Now, of course, this is recorded in this particular time.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, if you need to refer back to me, or as I would be for Marlene, from the TD Bank, we can always give you the up-to-date interest rates.
That's right.
So this is more of an educational video. It's to help you, people as the buyers, and take you through the process of a natural course of putting in an offer into a home.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
the next question, of course, is are there any government incentives for buyers right now for purchasing?
Yes, absolutely. There's some government incentives. I'll talk a little bit about them, but it would be better to go and see at the government website to see
Okay.
what the conditions are, because there's always
So it's case by case.
case by case,
Right.
always conditions apply.
Right.
So the first one would be a first-time home buyer incentive.
Right.
It helps first-time home buyers without adding to their financial burdens. Eligible first-time home buyers who have the minimum down payment for an insured mortgage
Right.
can apply to finance a portion of their home purchase through a shared equity mortgage, excuse me, with the Government of Canada.
Okay.
And you could visit the first-time home buyers incentive for more details.
Okay.
Then you have the home buyers account to assist first-time home buyers with the cost associated with the purchase of a home, including legal fees, disbursements, and land transfer taxes. The Government of Canada introduced a tax credit for the first-time home buyers in 2009. It represents a $5,000 non-refundable income tax credit amount on a qualifying home acquired during the year. For an eligible individual, the credit will provide up to $700 in federal tax relief. To find out if you're eligible, please visit the Home Buyers Amount webpage.
Okay. So basically, we will put a link
Okay.
on the bottom of this video so people can refer to it. And of course, we try to keep things up to date. But there's a lot of information in which Marlene is sharing right now, and you, as the buyer, are very fortunate that she's going through all these different points because it's quite technical. So
Yeah.
me as a real estate agent,
Yeah.
I'm meeting the client for the first time. I really don't know their situation.
Yeah.
So again, it's finding that right mortgage specialist to give them the right answers to all the
Absolutely.
questions which have. And it's really important to us to get you expert advice. So as Marlene's saying, that every time for first-time buyers, incentives that are
Yeah.
being offered from the government, things are always changing. The stress test, all the different subjects that we're talking about today are always changing. So always learn below, share if you actually like this particular video, because you're going to be educating other people, maybe your friends, colleagues, we don't know, but do share it.
Absolutely.
And we have a couple more questions for you if you have time.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Do you have any other programs or tools that are offered by the TD Bank that people should know about?
Yes, absolutely. You could visit our website at td.com, www.td.com, and just or you could even Google td.com information, and
Okay.
you'll get a lot of interesting tools, calculators, general information about, at least to start you off,
Okay, great.
And
So
then to get
all
into
this,
more detail.
so all this information, anything we're discussing today, we will add the links to this
Perfect.
particular video, and since it's in depth. The next question is people are asking me right now on how they can reach out to you. Now, the funny thing is that only real estate agents can actually work with people like you, which are mortgage specialists. You are put in place in order to just represent us, our clients.
Yes.
And it's kind of the VIP treatment that we're getting for our clients. And that means that the access that we have, the information, how quickly we receive it. And the only way you can reach Marlene is going through myself or someone from my team.
Absolutely.
And then we'll refer back over to Marlene. But if I've already shared her information to you by email or any other information, just reach out to me. Of course, my link is down below, my phone number, and I'll always share Marlene's phone number with you because maybe you have other questions. So
Yes.
that's the true thing is that they can't just walk into the bank and think that they can go talk to a mortgage specialist. You're actually there to work with people like myself.
Exactly. There are, with TD, if a client will go into a branch and has like, I'll give you an example. If a client is self-employed,
Right.
Or they have a lot of rental properties, or their file is more complex,
Right.
then the branch will send us the client's information.
Okay.
And they'll give them our number.
So they'll
to
refer them right
contact.
over to you.
Yes,
Okay.
they will.
So it all comes back to you.
Yeah, for more complex deals.
Now, is it true? We always do this with each of the buyers, and we tell them why going through one of our mortgage specialists, why it's so important. Number one is, do they get a preferred rate? Do they get a lower rate than going in the front door? Or is it more the treatment in which they're receiving? Or number two is, of course, me knowing each of the market specialists, I physically know them, I can trust them, and I can refer them over with confidence, knowing that they'll be taking care of you just as much as I take care of them. Is that a true statement, or is that always different?
It is. It's a true statement. I believe that within TD, if the client will go to the branch or come and see me, I believe the rate will be the same.
The rate will be the same?
The rate should be the same,
Okay.
because it's one TD.
Mm-hmm.
However, we will provide more experience, more information, faster verification of a file.
Right.
We could have some promotions and campaigns that the branch might not be able
Okay.
to give to a client. Things like that, just more information, I think.
So they're not getting a preferred rate
No,
necessarily?
no,
Okay.
no.
And because that's important to know is that for us, when we're like Marlene's elaborating to all the different programs that are ongoing at a bank and are always changing. So the benefit to you is that if there is a program running on at the time when you're talking with Marlene, and she is able to pass over the savings, because this is the whole thing about referring over to a mortgage specialist. We're trying to get you guys the best rate, the best first-class service, and make sure that you're actually taken care of. Now, that leads to another point, which is really important, is why do I, as a real estate agent, want to refer to someone like yourself, which is a mortgage specialist, when I'm working on a file? Now, I just wanted to talk about two things.
Yeah.
I've written a promise to purchase for
Yes.
my particular client.
Yes.
And there's a timeline in which we
Absolutely.
need to respect.
Absolutely.
So for example, if it's 10 days of doing their financing, 14 days, depending if it's a holiday season, we ask usually for more, or you will also.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we actually have control over the file versus letting our clients walk through the front door and meet someone for the first time. I actually have a relationship with Marlene, and I'm able to stay on track with the file, and she's able to stay on track with me for the
That's
file.
right.
Now,
That's right.
I'm doing a little bit more talking on this one
That's
here
okay.
in particular because of the experience, where the stories that I share is that I've had clients where they've gone into the bank to do work with them.
Yeah.
You know, things do happen.
Yeah.
But the thing is that when I was working with a particular mortgage specialist and we did run into a problem or they weren't represented through maybe a mortgage specialist, I was able to maybe make a phone call to a mortgage specialist and say, listen, I really have a problem with, this particular person and this file. Can you take a look at it? I know it's not your file and I'm asking you to do me a favor just to check on it because my client, I want to make sure that they're truly represented and that their file is going to get approved or if there's a little bit of a hiccup.
Yeah.
So I thank you, and I thank my other mortgage specialists also for going beyond the call of duty. So that's really something that I really I'm very pleased to say that working with the mortgage specialist has been able to give the opportunity to my clients where they could have lost it in a multiple offer.
Absolutely.
And they weren't going to be able to get the timeline. So you guys have come to
rescue.
There we go. Good. So tell me about that one.
Yes, for sure. Well, for sure, if a client has a person that they deal with at the branch, that's fine too. However, they have to take an appointment with that person.
Right.
That person at the branch, the financial services manager at the branch, has 7, 6, 5, 4 clients per day.
Right.
To take care of. So it ranges from investments to mortgages to personal loans to just service. So, and they're timed.
Right.
They have half an hour to be with this client.
Mm.
So if a client has a question, they have to leave a voicemail with this person. She can't always be picking up.
Right.
So that's number one. The person at the branch will call back at the end of the day, early morning, or the next day, the client. Now the client might not be available at that time.
That's so true.
So it's difficult. And then the branch personnel has a certain amount of time to work on a file, but mortgages take long.
Okay.
You have to meet with the client, you have to collect the information, you have to be with the credit center all the time. When the phone rings, you have to pick up from the credit center. You can't let it go to voicemail. They can't do that.
Right.
They're with a client. They can't pick up. So
this is really important. Is that like I'm talking to a buyer, and letting them know why it's so important to work with a mortgage specialist. So if I hear you correctly, is that if they do walk in the front door to a normal bank, you are working with someone that is working there, but there's no real relationship. In our case here, what we're offering to all our clients and potential clients is that we're offering you a VIP program with mortgage specialists that are looking at your file. I understand it. The paperwork is being taken care of. And if there is anything that's a miscommunication or a piece of paper that they may need, I'm able to reach out to you as a buyer because I represent you. And it's absolutely free. There's no cost to working with you to get better service and to get your answers more quicker, to handle your paperwork, to make it as hassle-free. And this is all the things in which we talk about from my company, Your Home Sold Guaranteed or We'll Buy It. We are stressing on 5-star service. And this is what we're getting from our mortgage specialist. And I just wanted to let you know the difference there. And now Marlene has come in today, and I really want to thank her for taking the time to be able to explain to potential buyers out there all the things in which a mortgage specialist offers. It doesn't cost you anything. You are going to get better service. And any questions in which you may have, they're going to be able to answer it much quicker. These are my go-to people. And I'm sure my buyers out there would love to have go-to people when they had a question about anything. So that's why we want to work with experts, and we want people to be represented in the best possible light and the best possible, what's the other word I'm looking for? Way. That's right. So thank you for being so transparent about this. And, for the month, I don't know, I'll cut this part here, but thank you so much. And I look forward to referring you many more clients, and any client out there that's able to work with Marlene, believe me, it's going to be a pleasure. So thank you again, everybody, and have a great year.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, great.
Thank you.